At PDAC 2017, we're with John Kaiser, founder of Kaiser Research Online. So John, for the benefit of those who can't be here today, what were your key messages today at your presentation?
Well, the title of my talk was Discovery Exploration is Back. The theme for the last 15 years has been feasibility demonstration. In the last few years, as we had weak metal prices, it was optionality, buy these projects, hold them, wait for the price of gold to go up or the metals price to go up. These metal prices have turned around. They're not as weak as they were before, but there's no reason to really expect them to go up substantially in the near term. Security of supply, focus on why might zinc go up, possibly through supply disruptions because of China's environmental awakening. But the really big theme is that the sector is realizing we can't wait for forces that we don't control to make metal prices go up to create interest in our space. We're going to go into these districts. Some of them are grassroots that we generate. Others are old districts that have been given up on. And we're going to rethink them. We're going to apply exploration dollars. We're going to try and make a discovery that works with the metal prices that we have. And if the metal prices do go up for whatever reason, well, that's the bonus. It's a reversal of the psychology that has dominated this space for the last 10 years.
Right, and then how are junior mining companies benefiting from Trump?
Well, Trump really isn't creating any benefit yet. Trump's promise to do infrastructure spending raises the possibility of macroeconomic demand-driven demand growth for metals. It's still questionable whether the Republicans will allow them to do that. There is reason to believe that they eventually will, because every Republican presidency has always increased the total debt by an amount greater than any predecessor. And with the standard created by Obama in the last thing, they are going to probably approve infrastructure spending because they're only interested in austerity when they don't control the agenda. So this could bring back the inflation scenario for the United States. It will, of course, bring back the traditional gold bug narrative. But more importantly, Trump is now a chaos person. There's a lot of uncertainty. He doesn't appear to understand how anything works. He's potentially destabilizing the global system, and that's creating geopolitical uncertainty. And geopolitical uncertainty has not been a driver for the gold price for a long time. And what's nice about that, although unfortunate in general terms, is that this creates real price increases.
Right.
And that is of what's value to the juniors. The idea that gold may go to $1,700 without any meaningful inflation. That's huge for a lot of these projects, because $1,200 gold is the same as $400 gold in 1980, inflation adjusted.
For sure. And yeah, what are your warnings for those who are going to get that gold bug in them, for those who don't really know how to invest properly?
Well, with this return to discovery exploration, we saw $100 million raised in the past month for about 4 companies in the old Windfall district. You want a company to show you what is our target, and if it exists, what would it potentially be worth? What evidence do you have that this is similar to this other deposit that, say, exists in Timmins? And you need to think a lot more about the geology, and you need to check to make sure that the management team is competent. These lifestyle groups, they don't know how to put a story together. They don't know how to recognize a target that actually has size potential. The audience that wants to come in here has to be looking for these things. They have to figure out what the size of the prize potentially is and what the probability is that the exploration dollars will deliver it.
Right, and going back to your mentioning of the uncertainty, geopolitical uncertainty, how can we prepare ourselves? How can we do good for ourselves as investors?
Well, you can look at some of the metals that have concentration. For example, cobalt, over 50% comes from the Congo. Congo possibly could descend into another civil war that disrupts cobalt supply. So then you look around the world, where else is cobalt coming from? Well, you look for safer jurisdictions. For example, in Australia, there's the Syerston project of cleantech, nickel cobalt sulfate as a byproduct. Lower grade wouldn't happen if cobalt wasn't heading to higher prices. Check the concentration of metals. Tungsten, most of it comes from China. Rare earths, we had a big rare earth bubble. Start looking for jurisdictions where these deposits exist that would benefit from a long-term upwards adjustment resulting from disruption. For example, China annexing Taiwan, and the United States really in no position to do anything about it except declare an economic embargo. And then where does the rare earth come from? Where does the tungsten come from? Where does the antimony come from? Where does the graphite come from? Where do these things that all come from China? What are we going to do about that? So that's a way of looking at it from the security supply perspective.
Great. And lastly, at PDAC, what are some red flags that you avoid in companies or in exhibitors themselves?
Well, red flags is the inability of the company CEO to, or whoever their lead person is, to explain to me, what are you trying to accomplish? Now, the geologists are the ones that have the deep understanding, but if the geologists have not communicated to the IR people or the management, what is the story here in simple terms, so that a person like me who is not a geologist but has a reasonable understanding of it, if it doesn't make sense to me, if that person can't tell me what the story is, what the game is, then there's no point, because then it's just a lifestyle type of event of company going through the emotions of pretending to look for something.
Right. All right. So thank you so much. Where can we learn more from you, John?
KaiserResearch.com.
All right. Thank you so
Rachel.
much.